Hi everyone, welcome back to my podcast. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about my experience as a general licensed ham radio expert. And maybe not expert, but I would say I'm a very big enthusiast about it. As you all might know from my previous video, I'm a part of Scouts and I'm a Star Scout and I'm 13 years old. But if you're new to this channel, let me introduce myself. My name is Utkar Shekhar. I am 13 years old and I'm a Star Scout. Some of my other hobbies include ham radio and aviation. In today's video, we're going to be talking about my experience so far as a general licensed ham radio user. So, as y'all know, I'm a part of Scouts, and through Scouts, I earned the radio merit badge. My journey begins back last year when I wanted to earn radio merit badge, and I thought it was pretty interesting. Talking on these little walkie talkies, making communications across the world without Wi-Fi, internet hotspot, all of that. It was really interesting to me, and I found it surprising that you could do that. So I decided to pursue that merit badge. Through that merit badge, I did a little bit of research, and I found out you could get a license, and that was really interesting. So me and my dad sat down and we went through the More course. If you don't know it, it's a great course. It's a month long course which teaches you about radio and all that. It's 2 hours. Once or twice a week during the evening, sit down. They ask you questions, they quiz you, they teach you. They have a whole set of slideshows where they teach you step by step, and they always answer questions. Uh, Once I got to know about the More course and I did it for a whole month, I was pretty proficient and I started studying for my technician license. Now, for ham radio, there's three licenses. In a radio you can talk on multiple frequencies and there's different ranges. There's VHF, there's HF, there's UHF, there's multiple. But to access some of them, you need to have the correct license. You can't just talk on a really high frequency with the lowest license. That's not allowed because you don't know everything about that frequency. So the lowest level is technician, then comes general, which I have, then comes extra. So for technician, on the test there were 35 questions, and you had to get, I think, 26 out of all of them correct at least to pass. And the same was for general, but it was a little bit different in extra. I'm not sure how it works, but I'm pretty sure there's 50 questions. So after I practiced more and more, I thought I had the hang of it. So I went to the More people and asked them how can I get my license. So they told me I can take a test online or in person. The in person test takes place in a normal community hall or somewhere where they monitor you taking the test on paper, maybe on a computer, and then you get the scores. But I decided to do it at home online, and it was pretty simple. We did all 35 questions. I got 100 out of 35. I got every single one correct, and I got the license. It was pretty interesting. And even after that, the most surprising part was the people at More gave me my first radio, which was this Yaesu dual band transceiver handheld, the FT65. And it's really convenient because although it's not the best radios out there, it was a really good beginner one. Now, if you finish your course and you get the license, you might not have the radio and you might not know which one to buy, and that's completely fine. You can go on different websites, like you can go on qrz.com. And if you want to study, you can go to hamstudy.com. You can visit the ARRL website, and you'll know a lot about ham radio there. Another thing about ham radio is it's not just a hobby, it's a tool that can build real life connections. It teaches you a lot. You can use it like if you want to pursue engineering when you grow up, or aerospace. It comes really handy. There's also a lot of electrical stuff. You learn about circuits, wires, all that. It's included in the study material. So you'll get to know about that. Also, there's a lot of emergency applications you can use because when cell towers and all when the internet is down and Wi-Fi is down, this comes really in handy. In emergencies like 9/11 and when floods come, people use ham radios to give emergency communications and to talk in general. And even if you don't have a phone, like children who don't have phones yet, they don't have ways to talk to their parents. If you have a ham radio, you can talk to them. Just connect to a to connect to a frequency, and you're done. You can just talk to them. But for that, you need to have the license. That brings me to my next point. Ham radio isn't just a toy, but you need the correct licensing and the correct experience for it. You can't just have a radio and the license and your parents can't and you talk to them. It's a proper system and it's monitored by other hams too, and you don't want to make yourself look like you're breaking the rules or anything. So that's why I feel it's very important to use this as a serious thing, although it's also very useful. So now let's talk about the technician license. The technician license is a very basic license and it gives you access to all the lower frequencies. But the next one up is general, which I applied for. And that one gives you more access to bands and all of that. And then after that comes extra. Extra is basically all of the frequencies you can have on ham radio, and it's amazing. I also stress the importance of tracking your communications, because once you start, you should know that you what communications you did, because if it's really fun to go back and look at all your communications, like your first one, your second one, and see yourself improve. It's also a great way to see where you did bad and where you can do better, and that way you can keep improving. Another point is the people you talk to on ham radio are communications and relationships that last you for the rest of your life. You never know, you might meet them in real life, you might even become friends, but they give you a lot of good advice. They're also very welcoming. They're more than happy to share information with the new ham radio licensee. When you talk to them on your frequency, you might make some mistakes, you might mess up, and that's completely fine. But the bold approach and step is to pick it up and say something. Just use whatever you learned throughout your courses and try speaking. You might do good, you might do bad, but the people are there to help you on your journey along the way. So some of the best gear advice I would give is, of course, these small handhelds. They're not too expensive, but also they're pretty simple and easy to use. If you want to get more advanced, you can buy better antennas online, because this antenna that this has isn't very strong. And if you want to do proper communications to repeaters far away, links, all of that, you should buy a better antenna. Another advice I would give to people who have mobile devices or a computer is to install the Echolink app. It's an online way of communicating with other people, and it's pretty simple. It's like a radio, but it's online. So it's called Echolink, but keep in mind you still need a license for Echolink. Also, there's another thing in ham radio called Field Day, where people across the world set up sites where they compete with each other to see who can get the most communications. And it's really amazing because everybody who has licenses gathers and they all start communicating. And you can visit a local field day around you. They usually operate throughout the weekend, 2 days non-stop, even through the nights. They take shifts most of the time, and they do as many as they can. And I've been visiting my local field day for the past 2 years, and it's really interesting to see how enthusiastic they are and how they can keep going and making communications without a stop. It's just amazing. I would also encourage beginners to visit a field day site, because not only do you get to see experts using their equipment, and you can also talk to the people there and ask them, what would you recommend and what did you do and can I make communication. If they hear that you have a license, they might let you communicate, they might not, but at least you'll get to see it. Um, for advice on how to make your first communication, I would recommend you come on the air and you use simple terms like saying your call sign. For example, my call sign is KE2FZD, or in phonetics, Kilo Echo 2 Foxtrot Zulu Delta, and see if anyone responds. And if nobody responds, it's completely fine. They might not be on that frequency. Just keep shifting and keep joining other frequencies. But it's important not to cut people. You should wait in between people's conversations and when they speak to talk, and not jump in, because that's seemed as rude as it is in real life. If you just jump into a conversation, it's not nice. Another thing I would recommend is that when you get on the air, that you should keep initiating a conversation. Ask more questions to that person, because you might not know when you'll talk to them next. Just take advantage of it, ask them for advice, and all of that. One more thing to remember is that ham radio has multiple different ways of communication. You should know your phonetic alphabet pretty like decently, so you can say your call sign, your name, maybe other things. And maybe you could even practice Morse code. A lot of people use Morse code. I'm not saying you should learn it all of a sudden. It's not required, but it's a very good skill to have because a lot of people nowadays use Morse code. There's also a lot of expensive equipment out there, and you should be very considerate when you're buying it. Some of the equipment you might not know how to use, so you should go step by step. You can't just buy a whole car without knowing how to drive one or how to use it. You should go step by step. Buy something like this, learn how to operate it, then use Echolink, save up some money, buy something more decent. And as I was saying, you can ask experts on what equipment they would recommend buying. So me personally, visited my field day, and they told me a lot about equipment, how expensive it can be. In beginning of my journey, I went to a local ham radio club where they talked a lot about equipment, and they welcomed me in. That was actually my first time seeing other ham radios, and that got me really interested. And they also introduced me to the More program to that. Uh, the last thing I wanted to say is never forget to follow the FCC rules and have fun. It's all about keeping an interest, having fun, writing it down, tracking it, maybe even getting the merit badge if you're part of Scouts. It can be used a lot in future careers if you want to get into aviation, aeronautical, engineering, emergency services. If you want to be something like a police officer, firefighter, EMT, things like that. So that's all, guys. Please remember, if you are interested in my channel, subscribe, keep watching my videos. I hope I see you again. 73.